Hello friends, I hope you are fine. So, let us begin with a new chapter and new concept. Today we are going to start Unit 3 Social and Political Life, and the first chapter of this is Lesson 22 Diversity, Interdependence and Conflict. So, here it goes. Let us begin with the introduction. India is a very big country. It is the world's largest democracy as well. Our country is full of diversity. It consists of people belonging to diverse backgrounds. In this lines, it is said that India is a very big country. We know, I think so. It is the second population. It comes in the second population in the whole world, and it is the world's largest democracy. And our country is full of diversity. Here, people you may meet of Marathi, Kashmiri, Punjabi, Bengali, Assamese, all are linked with each other. You cannot discriminate anyone in the basis of caste. India's diversity has always been its strength. In spite of this diversity, there is a basic unity which keeps us together. Our ways of life, the way we eat, the way we drink, dress, or pray vary from one person to another. Our languages change with geography, and so do our food, religious beliefs, ceremonies, ritual, and traditions. Houses in different regions are built in different manner. Our language, dialects, music, and dances also vary. In this lines, it is said that India is always been strength in its diversity, and in spite of this diversity, all live together. They have unity in each other. The way how we eat, how we pray, it belongs from one person to another. Example: Punjabi will pray Guru Nanak, and Bengali will pray Ma Durga. Muslims will read Quran, and so on. It varies from one person to another in our country like India. And our languages and foods, religious ceremony, rituals, tradition, everything can change. Like we are living in Assam, we will speak Assamese. The people living in West Bengal will speak Bengali. The people in Rajasthan will speak Marwari. The people living in the south may speak Tamil, Telugu, and so on. And also, so it is said that our country or our language are very different from very to very, place to place. The Constitution of India has recognized 22 official languages. The people of India speak about 122 different languages and use as many as 30 different scripts. Here it is said that 22 official languages are recognized by the Constitution of India, and 122 different languages are spoken by the people of India. Some which I know, they are Punjabi, Bengali, Assamese, Marathi, Tamil, Sanskrit, Odissi, Marwari, and so on. And there are 30 different scripts. And also, apart from different types of food, dress, customs, and religious practices, there is a great variation in physical and climatic condition also. This point I am giving you an example, like the people of Northeast, the Assam people, most people will wear mekhla chador, which if I am not wrong. And if you see in the Northeast side, people may wear kurta pajama, and women may wear the same kurta and all that. With and also, here it is said that climatic condition, you will find Rajasthan you may find very hot, Northeast you may find cold, South also you may find hot. So like that it varies. For example, Ladakh is a cold, dry, high latitude desert, while Kerala, situated on the coast of Arabian Sea, is a green, hot, humid, rich in culture and famous for its backwaters. The difference in this type of dress, food, and living style could not be pronounced. That's only it is said. These things cannot be pronounced. If you come to our means India, if you visit every place, you'll get new things to eat, new things to see. Everything from in India varies from one place to another. Languages also vary. It's not that India only speak English, Hindi, Assamese, Bengali, Punjabi, Gujarati like that. They speak every different languages. Different types of soils are found in different regions of the country. Equally varied are our crops. Here it is said, you may find different kinds of soil at different places. In north you may find some other soil, south you will find other soil, west you will find other soil, east you will find other soil. And same for the crops. You will find different types of crops in different area. Like in northeast you may get rice mainly, in Rajasthan you will get Rajasthani crops and all that. Example, wheat is mainly produced in northwest, cotton is in western India and Deccan area, spices and coffees in South India and rice in eastern India. Humid swamps, burning desert, and towering ice mountains are all these and more are found in India. These all things you will find more in India, different culture, different things, and everything you will not get in other countries. Next topic we'll be starting is what does diversity add to our lives? No other country in the world is as diverse as India. I said India has a diversity. We know India is unity in diversity. The people of our country speak different languages, eat different type of food, wear different type of cloth, celebrate different festival, and practice different types of dance and music. Every region has developed its own distinct culture, which has led to the great growth of a common culture or Indian culture. In this slide, as I have explained you before also, that people wear different clothes, eat food, adopt different dances. Like in Assam or in eastern side, you will be seeing Bihu and many other dances. In upper side, you may see Punjabi dance, Bhangra and all that, like that only. And they celebrate different festival. Like in the south, you will be celebrate Pongal, Onam. In the Rajasthan side, means in the western side, you will be seeing Diwali and Holi celebrated as the most. In upper side Guru Nanak Jayanti, you can say Punjab. In eastern side, you can say Bihu, and so on. And also, it is growth by a common culture known as the Indian culture. None of these regions in India is economically self-sufficient. Each region produces some special crops or minerals. Thus, each region has to depend on others to fulfill their needs. Here it is said no region is interdependent. They are not dependent on on their own. They have to depend on other regions also. They are interdependent on each other. If a natural calamity such as drought, flood, or earthquake occurs in a state and it faces scarcity of anything, it is easily secure its supply from other states of India. Like if you see flood in Kerala, people from Assam will donate them. There is no scarcity. There is scarcity, you can't say, but they get help from other countries also. It's not like that from Kerala only everything goes or from Assam only everything goes. Every country has their own specialty crops and minerals. They are interdependent, so you can help anytime. If there is a drought, you can help them. If there is earthquake, you can help them. If there is a flood, you can help them. For any natural calamity, you can help each other. Hence, this diversity and interdependence make our life easy and comfortable. That's why it is said, because of this, we people have to not suffer so much, and there is a diversity and interdependence that makes our life easy and comfortable. Next topic which I will be explaining you is how does diversity promote heritage. India's heritage is very old and unique. We know India's diversity, way of living is very old. People follow, like superstitions are now also followed in India and other countries also, but in India you will find most superstition. People from suppose our mother's mother is saying our mother not to do this, so our mother are saying us, if you do like this will happen. So superstitions are followed so much in India, and this was an example of India's heritage is very old and unique. It has evolved over thousands of years, and it's like a rich tapestry tapestry. People from other culture and civilization brought with them their own distinct traditions. Here it is said that people from other culture also and civilization has brought their own tradition, showed their everything. If that people wouldn't show, what would be our? This tradition then intermixed with the pre-existence traditions. It has been mixed with the pre-existence tradition. The before tradition and now tradition are mixed and produce a new tradition. Similarly, the people of India traveled to different parts of the world. They carried with them Indian culture and civilization. Our India people move from means has traveled, or during summer vacation of their children they have gone from one place to another, means out of India to visit, and they have followed the Indian culture and civilization. There is no doubt that such intermingling creates a composite culture in different fields like art and architecture, dance, drama, music, religion, language, etc. India is constantly being enriched by fusion with other culture. It is said that suppose we are mixing with each other, still also if there is no difference, people are adopting one another's means culture and everything. So India has constantly been enriched by fusion with other cultures. So the next topic is diversity in India. The heritage of this country is because of the developments in social, cultural, economic, and political life of Indian people over a period of 1,000 years or more. Here it is said that the heritage of this country is very great because it has been developed in terms of social, cultural, economic, and political life of the people from before then 1,000 years and before. Our common heritage as unity in diversity has resulted in constant interaction between people and their physical environment. India is famous for its unity in diversity. As I've already said you, there is unity in diversity in people, means there is very unity. Muslims, it's not like Muslims people will only talk to Muslims, or Bengali people will talk to Bengali, Marwari people will talk to Marwari. It's not like that. All talk with each other, all celebrate everyone culture, everything is celebrated. Unity in diversity was evident in our struggle for independence. If there was no unity between us, there won't be struggle. We won't get struggle till today. The British ruled India for nearly 200 years. The people of India, belonging to different religions, castes, regions, race, and ethnicities, came together to fight against the British rule and finally got freedom. If the people did not come together, did not become unity, you could not fight against the British, and British would attack us. Because the people became unity, they have defeated the British rule and we got freedom. But the caste system remains a hindrance. In the early period, it was based on profession, but gradually caste began to be identified with birth. The caste system is the root of many social evils like untouchability, caste-based marriage, caste-wise joining. Thus, caste breeds inequality in society. Because of it, a, per- a person of a particular caste or profession finds it very difficult to change his or her profession. It is considered irreversible. Here it is saying, still now, caste is being identified but still now it is being dominated. It is not pure, means you can't say it is fully, means that caste you based is not there, still it is there. You are not free till now. A short sight caste considered hampers the growth of national integration. Some people consider themselves above other caste people. They shun people belonging to lower caste. Here it is said, if you are lower caste, the higher caste people will put you down. Understood? It is an inhuman and anti-democratic practice. Each caste should contribute to the welfare and progress of the country as a whole. We should develop a feeling of brotherhood of mankind. Thus, artificially created caste distinction should be rooted out from our society. As long as this happened, as long as this does not happen, India will never rise to the heights which is capable of reaching, since caste consideration will deprive some people of their human rights and will stand in the way of progress. If this caste solution is not there, India will not receive the progress. It will always be dominated. So this caste thing has to be removed from it. India is a multilingual country where different languages are spoken in different parts of the country. I have already explained you this line. There is no harm. India is a there is no harm in people loving their regional language and promoting its growth, but sometimes language differences eh, creates conflicts. To this conflict, we should study all language and enjoy their stories, drama, folk tales, novels, poetry, etc. It is the kind of attitude that will foster national unity and integrity. Here it is said you should read all types of languages, you should learn all types of languages, and so on. If you don't do it, so there will be a, a kind of attitude that will foster your national unity and integrity for us. This religious diversity. India is a secular country where the followers of different religions like Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Sikhs, Buddhist, Jain, Paris, etc. live. Our constitution guarantees freedom of religion and worship. Here it is said, our country gives full freedom of religion and worship. They never stop anyone that you can't go to Gurudwara. If you're Muslim, you can't go to Gurudwara. If you're Hindu, you can't go to mosque or church or gurudwara. It's not. All religions are given freedom. All religions are equally proportional to go. We follow the principle of Savadharma Sambhav, means equal respect for all religions. All religions are essentially the same. All believe in one God but adopted different paths to reach the same Almighty. Here it is said that we have only one God. God is one, we know, but we have followed the path of different gods to reach the Almighty. Some says that if you pray Muslim, we reach to Allah, but Allah, then Guru, everything is same. You reach to one God. Hindus pray in temple, Muslims pray in masjid or mosques, Christians offer their prayer in churches, Sikhs pray in gurudwaras. The holy books of Hindus are Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, etc. The holy book of Muslim is Quran. The holy book of Christian is the Bible. The holy book of Sikhs is the Guru Granth Sahib. Here it is said that Hindus pray in temples, Muslims in mosques and masjid, Christians offer prayers in church, whereas Sikhs in Gurudwara. And books of Hindus are Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Muslim is Quran, Christian is Bible, Sikh is Guru Granth Sahib. Here it is said about the different temples and books what other religions read. The festivals of Holi, Ramnavami, Dasera, Diwali, etc. Hindus celebrate, whereas Muslims celebrate it with same fervor and enthusiasm as Christians celebrate Christmas, the birthday of Jesus Christ. But God is one. Here it is said, all celebrate different types of festival with same enthusiasm. Like Punjabi will celebrate Guru Nanak with that much enthusiasm, whereas Bengali will celebrate Durga Puja. Hindus will celebrate same how Durga Puja is celebrated with great enthusiasm. Hindus will celebrate Diwali. But God is one. All religion teaches us comparison, tolerance, humanity, and brotherhood. In fact, different religions are like different rivers leading to one mighty sea, which is God. So here it is said, let us celebrate different religions, but we will all be leading to one almighty sea, which is God. The next topic is unity in diversity. In spite of so much diversities, we are bound together by one common identity, that we are Indians, and united we call it Indian culture. Here it is still, in spite we are having so many cultures, but we are bound together and we are known as the Indian culture. It has preserved our identity as one nation through the long course of our history. Difference in physical features and climate have created religious diversity as well. People of mountains regions of the north have lifestyles different from the people of coastal or the south. Here it is said, north will have different culture, south will have different culture, west will have different culture, east will have different culture. The Vishnu Purana emphasizes the fundamental unit of Bharat's Varsha in these words: Uttaram Yat Samsundrasa Himmat Himadristavi Dakshinam Vasam Tatam Bharatam Nama Bharatiya Yatra Sanskriti. Means the country that lies north of the ocean and south of the Himalayas is called Bharatvarsha. For there live the descendants of Bharata. The introduction and implement of a common system of administration, common judicial system, the development of a nationwide network of transport and communication has united India and promote politically united. Here it is said, due to the introduction and implement of a common system of administration, common judgmental system, the development of a common wide network of transport and communication has united India and promoted political unity. Poets and sages of different regions of country have sung songs emphasizing the oneness of its vast country. Sare Jahan Se Acha Hindustan Hamara was written by the great Urdu poet Muhammad Iqbal. Rabindranath Tagore wrote our national anthem, Glorifying Our Motherland. Here it is said that poets from different regions have written different things, emphasizing the oneness. But Sare Jahan Se Acha Hindustan Hamara is written by Muhammad Iqbal, and national anthems Jana Gana Mana is written by Rabindranath Tagore. With this, I've ended my chapter. If you have any doubt, you can inbox me. I'll be moving with the further chapters soon, as soon as possible. Till then, thank you. Bye bye.